Java Swing JSpinners. JSpinner is a Swing graphical user interface component in Java that supports user input by enabling the user to select to enter a specific value from within a predetermined range of values. So a JSpinner supports 12 functionalities, allowing the user to enter a value into a formatted text field or cycle through available values by pressing one or two buttons. Uh, so in order to understand a JSpinner, this is the program that we are going to review. So this is our class JSpinners underscore 5, which will extend the JFrame because the window that we want to create, it should be built on a frame, and it is implementing the change listener class to implement certain events. Um, okay. So let me show you the import statements here. Grid back constraints and layout for setting up the layout. Then inserts, the frame, then the label. And to implement JSpinner, we need to import this statement, text field, because we are going to add one text field to our application. Then to enable or to make the JSpinner active, we need to implement the spinner number model import statement. Then change event and change listener for enabling or activating the event. Let me run the program to show you what is the application that we are going to see. Okay. So this is the label, select dog is ears and age human ears. So, and here is the spinner, Java spinner. So this is a box. Okay. So here the JSpinner, what it will do, it will select the dog's age and a non-editable text field that will display the converted age in the human equivalent years in the next field that you see. So when I increase it through this button, let me show you for 1, it is displaying 15. When I again increase it to 2, it displays 24. So like this, for certain dog age years, it will display the equivalent human age years. Okay. So let's move into our fields that we have to create in our program. To create the spinner, where you can increment or decrement the values like this. So we need to create this year spinner, then text field, this human age field, then years label, the dog size years, and the age human label for age human years. Let me first start with the main function over here. So for the class JSpinners underscore 5, I need to create the object mindFrame, which will implement the default constructor of the class. So where is our default constructor? Here it is, the default constructor. In it, we are trying to create certain variables for the initial value in a tier, for minimum value in the spinner min year, maximum value in spinner max year, and spinner step. I mean, let me show you from the beginning. If it's 0, when I increase it, the next value is 1. So each time when I increase the value is incrementing by 1 step. When I decrement, again it is decremented by 1. So for that we need to provide or set up one variable, step variable. And again one thing, so in order to construct the JSpinner, what we need to do, we need to initialize some value for the initial, minimum, max, and the step value. So the initial year is 2. When I open the application, it is 0. Okay. Initial year, minimum year is 0, and the max year, up to what maximum value it can go up to, that is 30 for that max year. And by what step value it needs to be incremented or decremented. So that's the thing which will be set to 1. Now we need to set up the layout. For the layout, this is the grid back constants. Layout constant equal to null. So, and then to create the JSpinner, we need to specify a spinner model or create a spinner model. So using the spinner model, we have to create the JSpinner. So again, this is one thing. It will specify the what type of values that will be displayed in the spinner, whether we are having number values, character values, or string values. It depends on that. So the spinner model will help you for specifying the values. So again, before creation of the spinner component, we must first create the spinner model object. So for this, I have told you that we need to import the Java X Swing spinner number model. Now for setting up the label, dogs age in human years, then years label, age human label, we need to create the label. So these things we must, you are familiar to. I don't need to explain it more. Now, the spinner number model that we have created one object for it. So now it needs to be initialized. So the initialize statement is here. It will create a spinner model, a spinner, and it will set a change listener. So for creating the spinner model, this is the statement. Spinner model equals to new. What type of spinner, that is spinner number model. Then this is the syntax of it. Initial year value, minimum year, max year, step value. So initial year we have set it up to 0. So when you open the application, it should display 0. Minimum year is 0. Max year is 30. I have shown you. Now step value is 1. Now next, we need to create one spinner object which will assign its reference to the variable years spinner. So for this, year spinner equal to new JSpinner spinner model. So through this, we are creating one JSpinner object and assigning the reference to this year spinner. So what will happen when we click on this spinner object? It should display the human age years on the next text box. That's what we want here. So what are we supposed to do? We need to add one listener or add one event to this JSpinner. So for that, we need the object that we have created for the JSpinner, and then just add the add change listener. So dot add change listener this. So this means it will implement in what frame or what application we want to um, apply the event. So the JSpinner will generate the change events that will notify the underlying program of a change in the value displayed by the spinner. So the change listener object is used within a program to handle change events. So when we add the change listener, then okay, so it should override the state changed method. Okay. So above, so here the program dog years frame here our class implements the change listener interface and the defines the state changed method. Okay, so let's start with this our event. Dog age years is supposed to be one integer. So the value that we need to enter here in the dog age years, it must be one integer value. So for that, whatever years will be entered through the get value method of the year spinner object, that should be always integer. So integer value is provided through this. Now, what are we trying to do? The value that we apply to this chase spinner, it will be matched with the dog age years, and for any of the certain matches, it will display the age human field, its appropriate age human field years through the set text method. Okay. That's what we are trying to do. Now next, I have missed this part. So age human field. So this text field, any value that we implement in the dog age years, apply it here. That should display some applicable value for age human years. So for that text field, we need to write certain instructions. So age human field, what is the size of field? Through this we have to implement this constructor jtext field 15. Then set editable, is it editable? No, so that's why we need to add this statement false. And initially what text it should display 0 hyphen 15, that is provided to this set text method. And the grid bag layout, this portion you have seen in other programs also. So this all this set of statements will help for adding this layout into the frame. So the first level, select dog age years. The same program you can also find in JBooks. So if you see in this grid bag layout, the first layout, the label select dog's age is in 00 position. Let me show it you here. Okay, so the years label is in 00 position. Then our spinner is in 10 position. Then next the age human level is in 01 position, and the text field is in 11 position. So that for the layout we are writing all this set of statements up to this. This is all about JSpinner.